Welcome to the Chris Harold Show, where we help coaches, consultants, and experts go from overworked, overwhelmed, and underperforming to enjoying a full sales pipeline and more revenue in order to fulfill your kingdom assignment and create an eternal legacy using our God's masterpiece rapid success system. Welcome your host, Christopher Harold.
This question here is from David. David asks, how to answer, what's the price? Great question, David. Great question. And look like, Dave, I guess you may be in a fitness coach, look like a health and wellness coach, right? So I'm assuming. All right. Great question, David. I literally could teach you on that topic for the next hour or two when it comes to that question, but we don't have an hour or two here. So I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version of this here. All right. So I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version. How to answer, what's the price? Before I tell you what I say, someone asked me, how much is my coaching or consulting or one of our professional services, anything like that. Like people ask you, well, what is it to enroll in your rapid success system, right? A lot of people know about my rapid success system, doing a lot of big things for a lot of coaches, consultants, and course creators and experts out there today. And people will ask, now, someone asks you, what's the price, right? It really depends on how you have prefaced it, right? Are they asking you just in a general conversation? Have they seen some of your content? Like, one of the strategies we teach, we give our potential clients, results in advance where, but the point is that if someone asking you that, right, it depends on where they're coming from, what kind of environment you have them in. But the simple answer to what's the price is it depends. And that's not evading anything. It does depend, right? Because you should not, now at least we don't, right? At least I don't have a one-size-fit-all remedy for everybody, right? So if someone comes and asks you what's the price, it really depends. What do they want? What do they need? Right? So a better question would be, if someone asks you that, David, would be ask them, respond back, say, it depends. What are you looking for? Right? What are your needs? Right? Then they will come back and tell you something else. Then you can, maybe answer that. But unless someone tells you what they're looking for, and unless you know what someone's looking for and what they need, you should never give out the amount of your program, because you really don't know. Because it's, everyone needs are different. So it shouldn't be like a one-size-fit-all type of deal, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense, because it shouldn't be a one-size-fit-all type of deal. So if that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense, guys. So hopefully that helped. Now also, if, once you can kind of figure out what they want, then you can accordingly adjust it. Now, another way, if someone's insistent, right, on trying to find out what it is, and if you feel that they are a buyer, see, sometimes people look for reasons not to buy, right? They look for reasons not to buy. I was sharing this the other day with one of my clients in our rapid success system, that sometimes people ask you questions, not just to buy, but sometimes people ask you questions to find a reason not to buy. Because unfortunately, most people, like everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants to, like the people I help, everyone wants to make more sales. Everyone wants to get, more clients. Everyone wants to grow, right? Just like your business, you might be having people get in good shape, right? Lower the blood pressure, lose 40 pounds, be able to fit in that old prom dress or whatever, right? So everyone wants success, whatever it looks like to them, right? Everyone wants to succeed in some area of their life, but very few are willing to take those steps necessary to allow that to happen, right? So everyone wants, everyone wishes for it, everyone prays for it, everyone dreams of it, but very few are willing to invest the time, invest the money, right? Invest the resources in order to make that possible, right? So sometimes people will ask you that question, not necessarily because they want, to hire you or to work with you, but to find a reason to stay where they are. So there's so many different ways. I got training that teaches, sales and all that kind of stuff, how to respond, to people. So I literally I can go 4 or 5 different ways with this question, David, right? Literally I could. But the first one I gave you is great. It depends, what are you looking for? What do you need? There's so many other ways. There's literally 3 or 4 other ways I could go with that. And literally, I got training that talk about that in more detail. We'll be here for another 3 or 4 hours because some questions you just can't come off and just give it a direct answer without knowing why they're asking you that, right? So if you don't know why someone's asking you that, your answer might not suffice, right? And then, see, it's our duty as coaches, consultants, experts, course creators, professional service providers. It's our duty, right, to help people, right? And the best way we can help people, especially if we're good at what we do, is for them to invest in our offer, right? In our program, in our service, because that's the way people get the best results, right? So it's your ethical duty not to let people off easy. If someone asks you that question, right? It's to dig a little bit deeper. You understand what I'm saying? Dig a little bit deeper, because there's always an underlying motive when someone asks you that, right? And so if you know why, like I said, so that's a very hard question to answer. Like I answered it really, with a good way you can respond. But there's so many other different avenues, so many different branches, so many different, paths we could take this to dive in a little bit deeper with that person who would ask you that question, right? Because you really need to know why they're asking you that. Are they asking you that just for money reasons? Not necessarily, right? Some people may have their mind made up, right? And be like, well, I'm not going to invest no more than X amount, right? So they want to know up front. But most people don't operate that way. And like I said, some people will ask you questions to buy, but most people try to ask you questions trying not to buy, because we have been conditioned by society. Ooh, I'm running out of time. We have been conditioned by society to remain average and where we are. And so it's our job as coaches, consultants, and experts to help people, to move them along, to get them to make the best decision possible so they can get the outcome they're after, because they're not going to get it staying where they are. If they don't buy, what's going to change? I tell some folks that all the time. The people will be contacting us, to be a part of our Rapid Success System program. I say, well, if you don't invest, be honest with yourself. What's going to change? You say you've been trying this for 2 years. You've been trying this for 3 years, 4 or 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. If you don't step out and change and invest in yourself, what's really going to change? Right? And that's a real question that sometimes you got to have that conversation with people, because people have been conditioned by society to stay average, to stay where they are. And stay in their comfort zone. And that's a dangerous place to be, because you can never accomplish anything of great significance staying in your comfort zone. So David, I could go all kinds of places with this. Literally, brother, I could give a 3-hour training, because it's really, I gave you one great response. There are 2 or 3 others, 4 other responses that I would take this if I was having a conversation with someone personally, or, I got training inside my program that talks about that, but hopefully that helps. So let me know if you got value from that.